All right, really appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name is Law Nation. That's L-A-W Nation. We're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys heading into the blue and white game. Why is it so important for those guys to really show up and show out? Because here are the facts right here. We didn't get a lot of preseason action, so the guys that's on the back end of the roster, we really don't know. Now, we do hear noise and news of Darian Thompson being the guy that's beating out Clinton Dix, but I will say this, Cowboy Nation. We can't go by that because we just don't see it in a real game, right? And we had Cal Human on, and he was going over the process that really in practice, it's not that much of a separation between Clinton Dix and, dare I say, a Darian Thompson. I will say this, though, regardless of the situation, who is going to be our box safety? Because we really don't want to see, let's be real about it, Clinton Dix playing down inside the box. So here's lies the question. What is Xavier Woods is doing? When he's out there on the field, 9 times out of 10, I'm seeing him more so at the top safety or the free safety. And Donovan Wilson, what we going to do with him? Because we never really seen him play close to the LOS or in the box. So those are a lot of questionings going on. That's why it's so important to have preseason games so we can really see where these guys lined up. Case in point, evaluation is 365, right? So we got to look at this thing and say, man, will the front four help out this team that much so that we won't even be talking about veteran guys that's on the street? Or, hey, is there trade action that we can do to help this team out and things like that? There's so many rooms when we talk about this thing, Cowboy Nation. And what we need to do in order to be better on our defense. That's the reality of it, because yes, we lost a Byron Jones. Yes, we can talk about Diggs, the young rookie, the phenom, right? Number 31, looking fresh out there. We could talk about that, but we still don't know what he's going to bring to the table. So that's why this weekend, the scrimmage, is so important to those that's on the back end of the roster. My dog, Reggie Robinson, we need to see him, right? We do. And another unit on the offensive side is very important. What unit that is, Law? What unit? What unit we need to talk about, Law? I'm talking about the offensive line for your mind. We're talking about that unit. That's the only unit that need to work together. All 5 of those guys need to be on the same page, right? And especially the major ruling of this particular team would be the center and the left guard. Let me sip on my coffee right quick. The center and the left guard. Because here's the reason why. When we start talking about the center play, and we do know that Joe Looney, he's right in on it, right? And we do know that we hear Tyler Biadasz. But just right beside these guys, yes, Zach Martin, we don't have to worry about him. But we have issues at the right tackle. Lyle Collins, he's not been in shape. A whole bunch of other stuff that's going on. Even Cam Erving, we have our reservations on him. He's been injured, what have you. So we really don't know. And that's the only unit that everybody got to be on the same page, right? You can miss a few days with your wide receiver being out. You can miss a few days with other positionings like your tight end being out. But that offensive line, they got to work together. Slide protection. They got to be able to say, okay, you're going to be the vocal point. You're going to point out the mic and things like that. There's so many things, Cowboy Nation. It really are. And the only way we can check it out will be this weekend and week 1. That's the reality of it, right? That's the craziest thing of it all. And when we talk about maybe Tony Pollard, Darius Anderson, the other Say-Woo guy, the fullback, those evaluations on the back end. Because we know who Ezekiel Elliott is, right? We know what he's going to bring to the table. And yes, we can go back and forth talking about the young phenom. Dangerous Lamb, CD Lamb, CD for TD, TD, CD, however you want to call him. When you got all of those names, you know you're doing something good, right? So we know what he can bring to the table. But what about his contemporaries? What about Cedric Wilson. He need to have a good game out there because we didn't see a lot from him because there's no preseason game, right? John Vay Johnson, Noah Brown, those guys. Ventrell Bryant. I heard that he's a special teams guru. And Devin Smith, we haven't seen him or heard of him all of this offseason. And I will say this, special teams is probably the way to get in. Do you roll with 5 wide receivers? Do you roll with 6 wide receivers? Do you roll with 7 for crying out loud? Hey, those are major things that we have to really account for this weekend. Also in other news, I heard Greg the Leg is doing a great job. 18 for 18 for multiple distance out there on the field, doing his thing, which may be a good situation because now the team, when they was evaluating players, they didn't have to focus on, is it Greg the Leg versus a Kai Forbath or versus whoever they bring in. They only said, look at it. We are only focusing on Greg the Leg and we can move on from here. Now, another thing, and I know it may not hit a lot of people by surprise, Chris Jones. We got to figure out that punt situation. Will he be the guy that earned his grain of salt? Is he finally healthy, right? So that's why this blue and white game is so important, Cowboy Nation. It is. So we got to look at all of those things, marry it up together, and say, okay, who's going to be the guy? Quarterback. That's my quarterback, right? We got to talk about quarterback right quick. Okay, we got Dinucci, Ben. He wears number 7. Okay, we got to evaluate Thorson. I think his first name is Clayton Thorson. He wears number 5. Andy Dalton. This weekend is very important for those guys. And you can throw in Dak Prescott as well. Look, steel sharpen steel, iron sharpen iron. I'm thinking that this team might roll with only 3 quarterbacks. They may. Then again, they might roll with 2, knowing this team. But 3 would be the quarterback of choice. I'm thinking that Thorson may be the odd man out. He got a strong arm. I mean, he goes through his progressions pretty well, but the accuracy part of it is kind of an issue from what I've heard and from what I've seen, especially when he was over there in Eagles land. I got some tape on that. But Dinucci, he's flexible. He moves in the pocket pretty well, and he goes through his reads, in a fair decent amount of good situations. But we only seen him with the second and third team, right? So we would like to see him with the first team unit. I don't know how they're going to rotate this situation. Andy, I heard all good news from him. Delivery of the ball, explosion coming out of the ball, releasing from his hands. Been doing a great job of just being in tune with this particular offense. Remember, West Coast is what he's familiar with. So he had a great start of the camp. No issues that I heard from him, being a leader of the team as it relates to helping out with the young guys. Dak Prescott. Hey, I know everybody gonna say, here he go with the Dak Prescott apologist angle. I know you guys gonna say it, right? Just go ahead and just put it in the comment box. Here you go, Law, with the Dak Prescott apologist, right? Dak Prescott started off with the camp not on his best performance, according to what I heard. Ball behind the receivers, overthrowing the ball and things like that. And a lot of people was looking at it like, hey, see, that's your $31 million man. That's your man. That's your man, huh? But Kyle Human, he came on the show the other day and said, hey, let me make sure and clap so you guys can hear it. And just like that, he started turning it on. His deep pass balls been very, very excellent during the training camp. He's been working through his progressions, everything, been leader, everybody listened to him, been a leader of the man of the team and demanding the team. Have some design plays for him. Can't tell us everything, but have some design plays for him to use his legs more. So Dak Prescott, he turning a corner. That's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. I really believe that this team is heading into the right direction, regardless of how we feel or how everybody else feel. And I think that we're on the right page. We're heading in the right situation. Before I roll up out of here, I just want people to understand that right now we are in a crazy environment, right? We're in crazy times. I want people to be safe. I want people to understand that not only we're in this pandemic, but we are also in this situation with the political, this election season. We are in a situation where a lot of people do not agree on certain topics, whether it be police brutality, whether it be defunding the police, whether it be this or that. All I can say is just let us utilize a platform that everybody can get together well on, right? And that's sports. Sports. I recall a movie called Remember the Titans. Go back and watch that movie. It is a great movie. It goes and it peels back some crazy stuff that went on with this country. One can argue and say, hey, some of that stuff is still going on till this day. Nothing changed, Law. Nothing changed at all, right? But it was a good movie. It spoke on things, on how things were unified as it relates to starting off trouble, starting off bad. A lot of people had different views and things. But at the end of the movie, the unity, and I think that is what sports can bring. We have different opinions, we have different thoughts, we have different beliefs, but I believe within sports we can have unity. Also, sometimes systems need to be revamped. Sometimes systems got to change. Quick story before I roll up out of here. True story, by the way. I first moved to Texas about 1.5 years ago, and I didn't know that we had hard water where I stay at, and it's really a hard water out here. Calcium builds up on the faucet, hard to get away, soap, scoms, and stuff like that in the tubs and showers and things like that. And I just said, man, you know, I'm buying all of these products to help things clean. And come to find out, I had a guy to come by to sample the water. And he said, man, Law, you got hard water. You're going to have to get a filtration system in here. And I said, well, I got a filtration system on my refrigerator, and the water still builds up from there. He laughed because I was uneducated with the situation. And he said, basically, that filter is just for taste, but it doesn't remove all of the other stuff. And he went through his whole spiel there and did sampling testings of that particular water. I tasted the filtrated water and I tasted the refrigerated water. And I said, man, he's right? But he went through more details of going over and breaking down the water system. You see, to make a long story short, it was nothing wrong with my water that was coming into the house because it was still able to provide washing and cleaning and things like that, but the water was hard. I needed a new system or implement a system to introduce soft water. Now, I come here to tell you guys, the system that was installed in my house wasn't cheap. But once I installed it, yes, I can see the difference. But could I live with the old system? Yes. Was the old system hard? Yes. It was rough going with the old system. But baby, the new system, I paid a little money, but guess what? The new system worked great. The water tastes good. The clothes last longer. There's no more soap scums. There's no more calcium building up in the faucets and stuff like that. So it took me of going through my research and implementing a new system. All I'm saying is that the United States is broken. We got an old system in place. We got hard water going on. We need to figure out, meet at the table, sit down, and go over a new system, implement new things so that the water can taste better, so that even my coffee tastes better because of the filtrated system. We need to have a brand new system. That's all I'm saying. For those who think far left, for those who think far right, for moderate, for conservatives, for anybody that's out here, we got to have some type of compassion. We talk about grace, right? Jerry Wayne Jones, we're talking about grace. Right now, the United States need to have grace and understand that regardless of the situation, whether or not a person is 1,000,000% wrong or 1% wrong, justification of shooting a man in the back 7 times is never justified. It's never the case, nor should be the scenario when you can see people go to the wild Serengeti and capture animals, right? And display them in the United States without killing them because they use tranquilizers, right? And those animals out there are not to just say, hey, I'm here. They're out there to kill you, right? And not calling people that look like me animals. But we got to look at the total picture and evaluate everything, not just some things, but evaluate everything and figure out how can we bring in a new system. Maybe police reform need to be this. Your first rounds of ammunition don't have to be live ammunition. Maybe rubber bullets. Maybe we need to figure out a tranquilizer system instead of tasing somebody. Maybe that's the case in the scenario. All right, Cowboy Nation, that's all the time that I have for right now. I'm a little hoarse. I've been yelling, been hollering and things like that. But I got my self-medication, right? Good coffee, by the way. Let's continue to grind and shine, Cowboy Nation. Let's figure things out. Let's work together in unity, right? Yeah, let's work together for a common cause and a common goal. And let's understand, for those who are convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. We have a right and a reserve to hold our own opinions, but we should look at it like grown folks and evaluate the situation. Let's go, Cowboy Nation, let's go. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation.